The Canor Virtuos A3 has everything really well organized with connections. You can build a system for any scenario, you just need a source. For digital, there's USB-C, you can connect a computer, laptop or even a smartphone and use the amplifier as an external digital to analog converter. Plus, there are 2 coaxial and 2 optical inputs. It's convenient for television CD transport and any sources with OSPDF, and as a separate bonus, there's Audio Engineering Society European Broadcasting Union on XLR. It sounds like a swear word, but it's actually a professional digital interface. A rarity in home audio. It's designed for stable signal transmission and long cables. The analog options are also impressive. 2 RCA connectors for simpler devices like a cassette deck or player streamer, and 2 balanced XLRs for more serious equipment. For vinyl, there's a phono input and a ground terminal to eliminate possible hum. The built-in phono preamp supports both moving magnet and moving coil, and the settings let you match it to your cartridge. For moving magnet, you can adjust the input capacitance and load parameters, and for moving coil, you can set the load resistance and the required gain mode. About the outputs. With output on RCA and XLR, you can connect an external power amplifier, active monitors, or a subwoofer. Plus, there's a 12-volt trigger for power on synchronization. And on the front, there are 2 headphone outputs, 6.35mm and a balanced one. The headphone section here is fully balanced and operates in pure Class A. But there was a mishap here. I plugged in the headphones, but the speakers didn't turn off and the headphones didn't work. It turned out that you need to press the headphone symbol on the front panel and then everything starts working. Greetings dear friends, my name is Arkady Zenin and I'm making this review for the Canor store Hi-Fi, Muzikos Guru. Enjoy watching. With Virtuoso 3, the first thing that catches your attention is the feeling of an expensive, well-designed and mature product. This is not just a box with a circuit board, but a device made as a long-term investment. A massive body, precise panel fitting, and very confident tactile controls. The central knob is a story of its own. Inside, there's a 1.3-inch liquid crystal display touch display, and the knob itself is mounted on a precision double-row bearing. As a result, it turns smoothly and precisely with no play, and this immediately gives a sense of class. You can literally feel with your hands that no expense was spared here. But the main thing starts inside. In terms of topology, it's dual mono, essentially 2 almost independent amplifiers in one case. Why is this necessary? So that the channels interfere with each other less and maintain the same quality even with complex music. The soundstage becomes more stable, instrument separation is cleaner, and the dynamics don't fade when the track is dense. The power supply is also multi-stage and separate. This is about making sure the amplifier doesn't sag during bass attacks and doesn't lose control when the load is heavy. The analog path is built completely balanced and discrete, without the usual operational amplifiers in the direct circuit. In plain language, this means the signal passes through physical stages designed for audio with a large margin for current and linearity. As a result, you often get a more cohesive, lively presentation without the feeling of electronic sterility. The inputs are switched by relays, which is important because relays provide honest switching without unnecessary distortion and contact degradation over time, especially compared to cheap electronic switches. Next, there are junction field effect transistor class A buffers without global negative feedback. This is about very clean operation with small signals and good microdynamics, so the music doesn't get flattened in quiet nuances, and the differential stepped attenuator is about volume accuracy. The channels match perfectly, so the center of the soundstage doesn't shift and the balance doesn't fluctuate during quiet listening. The circuit is a direct current, couplet with direct current servo. That means there are no coupling capacitors in the signal path. The practical meaning is fewer components that can color the sound and a better sense of signal purity. Especially when it comes to bass and attack, where the amplifier needs to handle impulses quickly and without smearing. The preamplifier input section is built on tubes using a pair of E88SS6922. Why use tubes in the preamp? To add tonal richness and smoothness without losing control. Vocals and instruments often sound more natural and full-bodied, but without any sense of muddiness or excessive softness. Because after that, the powerful transistor section takes over. The amplifier's output stage uses the proprietary current dumping implementation. A low-power Class A section constantly keeps the signal under control, while the Class AB section kicks in as a current booster when serious output is needed for the load. Simply put, at low and medium volumes, you retain the frequency response and nuances of Class A. And when you need attack and power, the muscle kicks in, and the amplifier doesn't break up, lose bass, or start sounding harsh. That's why you get the feeling that the device plays confidently at any dynamic level. The power is specified as 100 watts at 8 ohms and 150 watts at 4 ohms. And a high damping factor, up to 380 at 8 ohms, practically means good speaker control. The bass doesn't get muddy, the attack is tight, and the drivers seem to stay on a tighter leash. The built-in digital section is implemented in a dual mono configuration using two ESS 9038 chips, which provides dual mono operation in the digital to analog converter. This usually means better channel separation and a more stable soundstage plus lower crosstalk. And the asynchronous USB with support for up to pulse code modulation 32768 and native direct stream digital 512 is more about compatibility and future-proofing. Whatever you feed it, it will handle. But the really important things here are USB galvanic isolation, reclocking, and radio frequency filtering. In simple terms, it's about fighting computer noise and jitter. So the amplifier tries not to let interference from your smartphone or PC into the audio path and realigns the digital stream according to its own clocking, which makes the sound calmer, cleaner, and less harsh. And as a final touch to its thoughtful design, cooling. It features a custom system with head peep radiators. The idea is simple. The heat is efficiently dissipated, the components operate at the correct temperature, which means the device is stable both in terms of reliability and sound quality. It doesn't drift after an hour and isn't affected by overheating. In summary, the design here isn't about beauty for beauty's sake, but about the feeling it gives. The product is solidly built, with clear logic and an obvious margin of quality. Canor is not a marketing startup but an engineering company in Slovakia in the city of Prešov. They've been in the industry for a long time and have spent many years working behind the scenes. They designed and manufactured equipment for other brands under the Original Equipment Manufacturer Original Design Manufacturer scheme. That means the device is sold under someone else's name, but it's made by Canor. Clients like Project, Isotech, and Musical Fidelity regularly appear in the professional press. This is a good test of industrial reliability because major brands don't keep a contractor who can't maintain consistent quality from batch to batch. And an important point, Canor is not just an assembly shop. They have high vertical integration, their own facilities for board mounting, assembly, metalworking, case finishing, even aluminum anodizing, and quality control stands. That means they really know how to make a turnkey product, from the circuit board to the finished device. About the people. In publications, the key engineer and ideologist is often named as Zdeněk Brežoviak, and in some materials, John Westlake is mentioned as having participated in a number of projects. This explains why the Virtusa 3 is not seen as a compromise all-in-one device, but rather as a unit where the functions are built around a single idea, to create a universal system hub, but without the feeling of jack of all trades, master of none. And now, the logical conclusion. The Virtusa 3 is a product from a company that spent years learning to build reliably, neatly, and technologically for others, and now does the same, only under its own name. The sound of Canor Virtusa 3 is a symphony of its own. If I'm listening to a Class D amplifier, I can usually break the sound down into its components, describe the texture, the soundstage, the amount and quality of bass, the character of the mids and highs, the layering, and the depth. But that's not the case with the Virtusa 3, and that's actually a compliment. Class D for me is about technicality and analysis. They do a great job of revealing details and the structure of the recording, while the Virtusa 3 is about emotion. This is one of those cases when you actually get goosebumps while listening. That's exactly what happened to me. Still, I'll try to describe the sound in more detail. Virtusa 3 delivers a powerful, beautiful presentation of the musical material, rich, dense, monumental, with a sense of grand scale even on bookshelf speakers. I got the impression that I was listening to an excellent vintage amplifier. A full-bodied, comfortable, powerful, and at the same time quite detailed presentation. I had a similar impression once from the Japanese Sony TAF-870ES, a real monster, which seemed to weigh even more than the Virtuosa 3. In terms of power and bass, this amplifier is definitely enough to handle any attack. The lows are tight, confident, with good control. It's exactly the kind of foundation that makes the presentation monumental. The mid-range is very natural and lively, giving you the feeling that the performer is singing right here, just for you. The highs are calm, and in my opinion, that's a plus, especially if your speakers are a bit harsh. Virtu's A3 will gently smooth that out and make the presentation more cohesive. The main feeling is comfort and engagement. When I start listening to music on Virtuosa 3, I just melt into the couch and don't want to get up. It's complete immersion in the music, not in the couch. At the same time, the amplifier easily creates images of the musicians between the speakers, and there's also layering in depth. The images are soft and smooth, they don't press or cut, it's very pleasant. The texture of the music doesn't jump out at you, just as it should in a good classic setup. It's soft, beautiful, rich, without any sense of dryness or harshness. Overall, this amplifier isn't about cold analytics, it's not about breaking music down to atoms. It's about listening and feeling emotions. And yes, it's important to note that this isn't magic instead of engineering. Judging by the design and the company's approach, all the technical specs are in perfect order here. A lot of serious engineering work has been done. But the most valuable thing is that with all this foundation, the amplifier delivers real emotions. I was especially pleased with the Headphone amplifier. It's pure Class A with a powerful, rich, musical and very beautiful presentation, complete with all the audiophile attributes. Honestly, I'm just at a loss for words. I've already got goosebumps all over. Another compliment to the built-in phono stage. It supports both moving magnet and moving coil, as I mentioned earlier, and it offers an excellent set of adjustments. You can select both capacitance and resistance, so you can fine-tune the settings to match your cartridge quite precisely. I connected a dual CS529 turntable to the Virtuosa 3 and really immersed myself in the magic of vinyl. The built-in phono preamp here is simply excellent. I strongly and sincerely recommend the Virtu's A3 to emotional audiophiles who want a technically perfect beast that gives you goosebumps. This was Arkady Zinin with you. That's all for now, and may the force of the right sound for you be with you. Come visit us. Perhaps it's time to talk about a couple of drawbacks. Despite the fact that the amplifier is expensive, there are a couple of flaws. So listen to the first one, the fans. Well, actually, you can only hear the sound of the fans here. When you place the amplifier in the rack and step back 2 meters, you hear nothing. But from where I'm recording now, can you actually hear it? It's humming. And the second little flaw, in my opinion, is that in our 21st century, an HDMI digital input for connecting a television is really necessary. I had to go old school and use an optical cable to connect it. Well, that's actually all for now.